What's up everyone, welcome to another one of my Pathfinder Wrathoftherighteous companion build videos. Just like my recent Camellia build, I wanted to make this Wenduag build, as a lot of the ones I've seen are a couple years old or have feats that have changed in patches since then. This build will be a more thematic build for Wenduag, using a bow instead of the ever popular dual wield throwing axes route. For those that prefer that route, I will briefly go over how you could change this into a dual wield build at certain levels. As far as strength goes, this build will not only be strong in the late game, but will likely be your strongest party member in the early game. As always, this build was tested on hard and was played through the entire game, doing all possible main story and side quests, including DLC. Now it's time to go over levels 2 through 20 for Wenduag. At level 2, I usually don't go over skill points, but for this build, make sure to increase mobility as much as you can every level, as the bow we use late game will benefit from the highest possible mobility rank. Right away, we're going to take a dip into Rowdy Rogue. This will be the only level we take to gain Vital Strike for free, along with Vital Force. Vital Strike will carry us through the early game, allowing us to do much higher damage than we usually would. As a standard action, you can make one attack at your highest base attack bonus, roll the weapon's damage twice, and add the results together before adding bonuses. This combines with Vital Force, which adds 2d6 additional damage per sneak attack dice to the damage of Vital Strike and counts as precision damage. At level 3, we will now be going default Slayer all the way until level 20. I like to go Slayer on Wenduag because not only does it feel very thematic, but you also get Slayer talents and sneak attack progression along with studied target and quarry. There is a couple good archetypes that Wenduag can make use of, but for this build, we're going to be sticking with default Slayer. If you'd like to go the Dual Wield route, I would recommend sticking to Fighter. Make sure if you go that route to grab dual wield feats and mythics, as I won't be going over them in this build. For our feat, take Deadly Aim for a +2 bonus on all ranged damage rolls, at the cost of a -1 penalty to all ranged attack rolls. If you're having trouble hitting certain enemies early game with this, feel free to experiment with it off and on. At level 4, make sure to level Dexterity here, and every level after, we'll be able to increase our strength much easier through buffs and spells. For our first Slayer talent, take Combat Trick, Weapon Focus Longbow, to offset the penalty of Deadly Aim. Usually I would take Rapid Shot on most archer builds, but for this build, it wouldn't make sense as we will be spamming Vital Strike until we get 3 to 4 or more attacks per round. At level 5 for our feat, take Rapid Shot. Although I would leave this off until we get more attacks per round, this can be useful in certain scenarios. For example, a fight between a few weaker enemies that can die in one hit, so you can get multiple kills. Make sure not to toggle this on early game against enemies with high AC, especially bosses. At level 6, for our Slayer talent, take Combat Trick Improved Initiative, assuring that we act first or as close as possible during combat. Uncanny Dodge is also an option here, though I don't know which I would value more. At level 7 for our feat, take Many Shot. This allows us to fire 2 arrows when making a full attack with a bow. If the attacks hit, both arrows hit. We get to apply precision-based damage, such as sneak attack or critical damage, but only once for this attack. Our strength bonus applies to each arrow along with other bonuses. Damage reduction and resistance applies separately to each arrow. At level 8, for our Slayer talent, take Combat Trick Outflank. To my surprise, this does work on ranged characters, as I thought for the longest time that it didn't. This bonus is crucial, allowing us to ignore most penalties we have from Deadly Aim and Rapid Shot by giving us a +4 bonus on attack rolls against flanked enemies. At level 9, for our feat, take Improved Critical Longbow to double our threat range with longbows. At level 10, for our Slayer talent, take Combat Trick Snapshot. This won't be useful on its own, unless you get the Triceratops Quick Slot item and use that as a mount for Wenduag. The main reason we take this now is to qualify us for the Improved and Greater Snapshot feats. At level 11 for our feat, take Improved Snapshot. This gives us an additional 5 feet on Snapshot, allowing us to make use of it a bit easier as long as you position correctly. At level 12 for our Slayer talent, take Slippery Mind. This allows us to add our dexterity bonus to our saving throws against mind-affecting conditions, which is quite large and will be very nice against certain enemies and bosses. At level 13 for our feat, take Greater Snapshot. We'll now be able to provoke attacks of opportunity from 10 feet away, making it a lot easier to use without a mount. In addition, we gain a +2 bonus on rolls to confirm a critical hit, increasing by +4 when our base attack bonus reaches 16, and +6 when our base attack bonus reaches +20. At level 14 for our Slayer talent, take Opportunist. This allows us to make a free attack of opportunity against an opponent that has been struck by melee damage from another character. This counts as an attack of opportunity, so it cannot be used more than once per round. At level 15 for our feat, take Dazzling Display to qualify for Shadow Defenses. Though this has been nerfed, we don't have many good feats left to choose from, and it's still quite good on characters that have a lot of attacks per round, and we will have 8. At level 16 for our Slayer talent, take Dispelling Attack. This makes any opponent that is dealt sneak attack damage by Wenduag become affected by a targeted dispel magic, affecting one of the spell effects active on the target. The caster level for this ability is equal to the character's level. Also at this level, we unlock Quarry, allowing us to make someone our quarry within line of sight. We receive a +2 insight bonus on attack rolls, and all critical threats are automatically confirmed. We are limited to 1 quarry at a time, but usually we'll only use this on the strongest enemy or boss anyway. At level 17 for our feat, take Shadow Defenses. This makes any shaken or frightened enemy hit by us flat-footed to our attacks until the end of our next turn, applying on all additional hits after the first. In theory, by late game, this should make enemies flat-footed by 7 out of 8 of our attacks. At level 18 for our Slayer talent, take Wary and Strike. This makes every sneak attack deal 1 point of constitution damage to the creature hit. Although some enemies and bosses are immune to ability drain, it will still be useful against the ones that aren't. At level 19 for our feat, take Improved Precise Shot, allowing our ranged attacks to ignore anything but total concealment and cover. Hammer the Gap and Clustered Shots are also options. At this point in the game, it doesn't matter too much, so take whatever you prefer. At level 20 for our Slayer talent, take Combat Trick Clustered Shots or Hammer the Gap, whichever you prefer. Now it's time to go over our Mythic levels for Wenduag. At Mythic level 1, take Cleaving Shot. I go this on pretty much every archer build, as it allows us to deal our weapon damage to all enemies in 10 feet of our target if we deal critical damage, or reduce their hit points to 0. At Mythic level 2, take Mythic Deadly Aim. This buffs our Deadly Aim, giving us a +3 bonus on ranged damage rolls instead of +2. When our base attack bonus reaches +4, and every +4 thereafter, the bonus on ranged damage rolls increases by +3 rather than +2. At Mythic level 3, take Distracting Shots. This makes our ranged attacks that hit reduce the enemy's AC against melee attacks equal to half our Mythic rank for 1 round. This will make fights a lot easier, especially as we get more Mythic levels. At Mythic level 4, take Mythic Improved Critical Longbow to increase our critical multiplier by 1 with longbows. At Mythic level 5, take The Bigger They Are. This gives a bonus on our attack rolls equal to the penalty to AC the target receives from their size, if any. This is a very nice pickup, as around this time in the game, a lot of the enemies start becoming larger entities. At Mythic level 6, take Mythic Rapid Shot to ignore the -2 penalty on attack rolls we've suffered until now. At this point, you should already have this on, but if not, make sure Rapid Shot is turned on permanently. At Mythic level 7, take Ranging Shots. This gives us a stacking +1 bonus on attacks against the same enemy, up to a maximum of our Mythic rank every time we miss a ranged attack. Every successful hit lessens this bonus by 1. Though not amazing, this can be useful against certain enemies such as bosses that you're having a tough time hitting. At Mythic level 8, take Mythic Point Blank Shot. This increases the bonus on attack and damage rolls provided by Point Blank Shot to +2. Make sure that Point Blank Shot is toggled on or you won't receive these bonuses. At Mythic level 9, take Expose Vulnerability. This makes every third attack from our ranged weapon against the same enemy deal an additional 1d6 per 2 Mythic ranks divine damage, so if we hit at least 6 out of our 8 attacks, we can proc this twice. Last Stand is also an option here if you're having trouble keeping Wenduag alive. At Mythic level 10, take either Mythic Weapon Focus Longbow or Mythic Improved Initiative. Neither matter too much, as you're now at the end of the game, and the bonuses they provide are quite small, though I'd probably take Mythic Weapon Focus. I'm now quickly going to go over how I like to play this Wenduag build. Early game, we're going to pretty much exclusively be using Vital Strike, as it's the highest damage we can achieve, even if we manage to land 2 to 3 hits. Make sure to be in point blank shot range, and keep Rapid Shot off for now to further increase your chance of hitting. Deadly Aim can be toggled on in most fights, but if you're having trouble hitting, toggle it off. Mid to late game, make sure to put as many attack roll, damage roll, strength, and dexterity buffs on Wenduag as possible. Invisibility Greater is also an amazing option on all ranged characters. Once we have Greater Snapshot, make sure to be within 10 feet of enemies in fights where you want to get free attacks of opportunity. Since we have low AC, protection from arrows, displacement, and blur can be quite good options as well to prevent enemy archers from melting us. Now it's time to go over our gear for Wenduag. For our helmet, early game, wear the highest wisdom headband you have. Later, when we acquire Shylili's helmet, wear this to give us a +4 profane bonus to strength and a +2 profane bonus to AC. For our goggles, the goggles of piercing gaze. These grant a +1 insight bonus on attack and damage rolls against outsiders, as well as a +10 competence bonus on persuasion skill checks. For our cloak, the cloak of reflections for a +7 to saving throws, and resistance 35 fire, acid, cold, and electricity, which also heals us a number of hit points equal to the amount of damage prevented. If you don't have the Dance of Mass DLC, any resistance cloak, or Lone Wolf's cloak. For our first ring, Merciless Shot for a +1 bonus to attacks while using point blank shot. For our second ring, the Ring of Guiding Star to grant a +4 bonus to initiative rolls. Also, whenever we land a hit against an undamaged enemy, it grants all companions a +3 bonus on damage rolls for 1 round. For our bracers of archery for a +2 competence bonus on attack rolls and a +1 competence bonus on damage rolls. I didn't use the bracers of slaughter from the new DLC this time, though they are the best min-max option for pretty much any build. They provide a +10 to AC and allow your attacks to ignore all damage reduction and deal additional 3d10 force damage. For our amulet, Valexia's amulet for a +5 natural armor bonus to AC and a +2 to our dexterity. If you want to use Valexia's on a different character, take back rank assistance. This allows us to make a free attack against any target within 30 feet that has been hit by one of our allies' attacks of opportunity. This can only occur once per target. For our armor, Snakeskin for a +4 profane bonus to dexterity, immunity to acid damage, and an increase to our base speed by 20 feet. Life Infuser is also an option if you prefer higher strength and constitution, as it gives a +8 armor bonus to constitution and strength. In addition, we gain moderate fortification, giving us a 50% chance to negate sneak attacks and critical hits. For our shirt, there's not too many options, but I prefer Wandering Conman to give us a +10 competence bonus to trickery and athletics, as well as a +2 bonus to attack rolls for attacks of opportunity. The Cloth of Heavy Fortification is also an option, giving us a 75% chance to negate sneak attacks and critical hits. For our belt, the Belt of the Last of the First Humans for a +5 sacred bonus on attack rolls, and a +10 sacred bonus on damage rolls with weapons. Secondly, spells and spell-like abilities that target the wearer are turned back upon the original caster. Thirdly, whenever the wearer is hit by a ranged attack for the first time in a round, the belt prevents all physical damage from the attack. Finally, whenever the wearer rolls for initiative, they roll twice and take the better result. If you want to use this belt on a different character, belts of physical perfection also work. For our gloves, the Gloves of the Death Dealer to give us an additional 1d6 damage on sneak attacks. The Gloves of Passion Sweet Poison are also an option to make enemies suffer 1 damage to intelligence, wisdom, or charisma on a critical hit with a bow. For our boots, Ronek's Sacrifice for a +8 to dexterity and a +10 bonus on mobility and athletics. They also double bonuses to AC, attack rolls, and reflex saving throws from the haste spell cast upon the wearer. In addition, whenever the enemy confirms a critical hit against the wearer, it becomes stunned for 1d4 rounds. For our weapons, early game use Finian or the best composite longbow you can find. Late game in Act 5, Killing Pace from the Skeletal Merchant. This is a +5 speed composite longbow that allows its wielder to add half its rank and mobility as a competence bonus to damage on a successful hit. For our quick slots, there's not many good options for Wenduag. The classic Lucky Dice is useful on any character for a +1 luck bonus on an attack or damage roll, or to AC during an enemy's attack once per day. This effect lasts for the whole day. Other than that, equip any quivers you find, including Midnight Bolts, unless you're going for the secret ending. That wraps up my Wenduag build. Thanks to everyone who made it this far. As usual, if you enjoyed the video at any time, please like and subscribe as it helps me a ton. If you have any build requests, please let me know in the comments so I know it wants to be seen. As always, I would appreciate any positive or negative feedback down in the comments. I'm currently working on a mercenary build for one of the new archetypes and a few more companion builds, so expect some of those soon. In addition, I'll most likely work on some builds and guides for Rogue Trader when the new DLC drops, as well as Baldur's Gate 3 when patch 7 is live. Anyway, thanks again for watching, I hope to see you in future videos, and have a great day.